Hey guys, welcome to the Captain Fizz and Mask Guy show. Tonight on the show, we'll be talking about Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. We're also going to be bringing up how we have both been turned into fictional characters.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, surprise, surprise. So you know what? Stay tuned because we're going to the music.
Music time. Hey guys, welcome back to the Captain Fizz and Mask Guy show. I am Captain Fizz.
And of course, as always, greetings from the 7th Moon of Thunder. I am that Mask Guy.
Now, 7th Moon of Thunder, any relation to Superman?
If there is, we disallow any knowledge about it.
Denied.
Denied, yes.
So, tonight we, of course, are going to be talking about Batman v Superman.
Batman v Superman!
If you are one of the absolute idiotic people who continuously say Batman versus Superman, I will reach through your computer or phone or whatever the hell you're listening to us on, and I will smack you with a rubber snake.
It sounds quite violent.
It's a rubber snake. No animals are harmed in the process.
Still, I mean, a rubber snake, wouldn't that hurt getting hit with more than, say, a real snake?
It would, but once again, the snake isn't harmed. So that makes it automatically good.
This is true.
As long as no animals are harmed, I don't care about the people. Unless it's you.
What?
I absolutely care. No, I don't.
No, you don't. Now, if it was my son, on the other hand, you might actually care.
I would let him hit me with, any kind of snake. Because it kind of puts a smile on his face. But yes, Batman v Superman.
This is so wrong on so many levels.
It is awesome. But Batman...
Everything is awesome.
We're not going to bring that up again. So Batman v Superman, obviously by Zach Snyder, recently came out. A very interesting idea of cast members, of course. We'll go straight to the spoilers. So, spoiler alert.
Spoiler! Superman's dead!
Yes. Superman is dead. And, unfortunately...
We have just ruined all your lives. Deal with it.
And ironically enough, Batman did not kill Superman. The whole lead up, okay, they pretty much spent the entire time touting this as a battle between man versus God, Superman versus Batman, Bat versus whatever. And ultimately the battle lasted, 10, 15 minutes at that?
The battle, you know what, honestly, I sat there with a full bladder waiting for this battle. And, by the time they finally got into it, I had to run off. By the time I had gone back, which would have been 2 minutes, the battle was almost over.
It was a really lackluster battle. And, basically they could have called it anything, they wanted. Rise of the Heroes or Rise of, of Justice. Whatever.
They could have called it Fantastic Five. No,
it wasn't quite that bad.
It wasn't bad at all. I happen to like it quite a bit, to be honest.
The storyline to me seemed like they were trying to tell 2 or 3 different movies, all bundled into each other, and none of them actually, worked together properly. They all clashed with themselves, and it just. I like the idea of it. I like the concept of it. I think they fell flat executing it.
You know what? My big thing is that this movie, I mean, it felt long. And again, this is not the sort of movie that is easy to go through when you have a full bladder. So, I mean, that was my own fault. Next time I go off and see a superhero movie, I better have an empty bladder throughout the entire movie just so I can make sure I enjoy it.
I never go to a movie with a full bladder.
I didn't have one either. It's just like, I realized getting a jumbo cola and then drinking half of it before the movie even started probably wasn't a smart idea.
No, definitely wasn't. But at the same point, you didn't miss much. The Doomsday or whatever the hell that creature was that ultimately eventually killed Superman, was a wicked creature. Don't get me wrong. How they created it was pathetic.
Well, see, I don't know a lot about Doomsday's actual origins in the comics. I do know that there's been a lot of speculation that maybe Doomsday was more of a Bizarro than anything, because in the comics and, constantly when they've reimagined Bizarro, it's always been kind of the same. He is supposed to be a clone of Superman that's got a little bit of, Lex Luthor's DNA or something into him, I think. Guys, if you, know more about this than I do, I apologize for absolutely screwing this all up. But, so what we saw here was that, they made Doomsday out of the DNA of General Zod and added some of Lex Luthor's DNA into the mix. And that just, I don't know how. So you get this like psychotic Doomsday, monster, But I mean, it was kind of was it really Doomsday? Was it more like a really screwed up version of Bizarro?
The fact that they nonchalantly, introduced it as Doomsday, and not so much called it Doomsday, but here's your Doomsday. I don't think it was Doomsday. I don't think it was Bizarro. I think it was one screwed up, messed up creature just to make a pointless movie seem interesting.
You know what? And I think my big problem with all this is that they really didn't need Doomsday. I see why, I've heard why Zach Snyder went off and he did this, because he wanted to go off and kill Superman off and kind of make this quest for Batman to go off and try to bring together the Justice League on his own. Because, I mean, honestly, if Superman shows up and you're like a superpowered individual who wants to go off and do right, and he shows up and says, hey, I'm putting together a band, you want to come join?
The thing though is, this movie could have been done without Doomsday. It could have been done without Lex Luthor. It could have been. It could have been done without Wonder Woman. None of them really played a very big, important role. As far as I'm concerned, Jesse Eisenberg never should have played, Lex Luthor. This movie pretty much completely reiterates that point. The guy was useless as Lex Luthor. If anything, they should have made him as a Joker. The stupid, repetitive laughter, the maniacal attitude, it was the Joker. It was not Lex Luthor. It was not anything to do with that.
And I'm not sure, what were you expecting exactly from, a Lex Luthor? I mean, yes, he definitely goes against, character to a certain degree, especially when we've had some, incredible actors who've went off and have played the character over the years, including, of course, Gene Hackman and the demigod himself, Kevin Spacey. So it I mean, they have done really well, and the role of Lex Luthor always seems to be the juiciest part in almost anything that he's appeared in. Whether it's in TV or movies or even, cartoons and comics.
Well, I will agree. I love the character of Lex Luthor. I do not agree with Jesse Eisenberg being Lex Luthor, and I don't think, he was, anything good in that role. You could have cut out Jesse Eisenberg and nobody would have noticed. As far as I'm concerned,
I think so. I mean, they needed, again, it went down to the fact that they wanted to go off and they wanted to introduce these characters, but they needed a way to go off and eliminate Superman, so to make it harder for Batman to go off and try to put together the Justice League.
Oh, see, I don't care about that. I just don't agree with Jesse Eisenberg being Lex Luthor. Put it to Lex Luthor in all you want. Just don't let that idiot be Lex Luthor.
And you know what? Honestly, I didn't have a problem with him. I mean, he came across as kind of being, this pretentious, snotty know-it-all who, for whatever reason, had it out for Superman. I mean, and it's, it never was really explained exactly what, he had against Superman. But at the end of the movie, they kind of give you a kind of a glimpse into that he has been maybe in contact with someone from off-world. Possibly Apocalypse. Not, Marvel's version, but of course DC's version, or maybe even Darkseid.
Okay, I'll agree, but at the same point, there's a lot of questions this movie definitely, opened up. One, how did Lex Luthor know who they were? Two, how did they know who each other were? There was no, feel out moment where all of a sudden, secrets were revealed. They automatically knew each other's first names. I thought that was ridiculous. As far as I'm concerned, anytime you watch Batman or Superman, their identity is their secret. And for them to, reveal it so nonchalantly that, Superman knows my name.
My big thing is how did, Lex Luthor find out about them? Because it was pretty obvious. I mean, Clark Kent, all he had to do was spend 5 minutes around Bruce Wayne and, being able to hear Alfred talk into his ear. And that's all it took for him to figure it out. Bruce Wayne, being, the great detective that he is, doesn't take much for him to figure out that, Clark Kent was Superman. But how did Lex Luthor find out?
Yeah,
it's obvious that, I mean, he knew who these two were long before either of them knew that. And his whole plan from the beginning was to get Batman so riled up that he would kill Superman.
Yeah, and see, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the whole basis of the movie and all that stuff, none of it just makes any sense. It just seems all mumble-jumbled, hullabaloo.
But, you know what? I mean, maybe it's a good thing that they left a lot of questions, because we're talking about, DC's, Justice League franchise. They're being kind of ballsy here. They are planning to bring out 2 movies every year for the next 5 years, including Batman, versus Superman.
The Superman!
Up yours. So, I mean, 2 every single year until, the end of 2020. That's very ballsy.
It is ballsy.
So, but, I mean, and they need to go off and get in there, right away, because, of course, next year they are coming out with Justice League Part 1.
Yes, they are coming out with the Part 1 Justice League before any other character standalone movie.
And so I think
bogus move.
And I think that's maybe was why Zach Snyder felt so pressured to go off and do everything, because we got to see glimpses of the Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg all in this movie. I mean, each of them only got about 30 to 45 seconds each, but but they were all in here. I really feel that Snyder was kind of pressured to try to shove as much in as possible, because DC wanted to come out with the first Justice League movie next year.
And I really have to question, the education of the people behind DC, because, I'm sorry, what has worked so well for the Avengers and Marvel was doing the standalone movies before they came out with the big group one. You gotta let people get used to the characters, fall in love with the characters before they become the group, not after.
And I completely agree, but maybe DC doesn't feel as confident in their characters as Marvel did. I mean, Marvel, let's face it, when they came out with, Iron Man as their first movie as part of their own studio, that was really ballsy. Ant-Man was, and Guardians of the Galaxy were really ballsy moves for them to go off and to do.
If you own a company that revolves around comic books and comic book characters, if you do not have enough confidence in your characters to be a standalone movie, you should not be running that company.
But, again, I mean, do you see Cyborg or the Flash or Aquaman? I mean, Aquaman is considered to be probably one of the biggest jokes in the DC universe.
Ant-Man was considered one of the biggest jokes in the Marvel universe, and look what they've done. They modernized it.
Honestly, I mean, Ant-Man is probably within my top 5 favorite Marvel movies of all time, maybe favorite top 5 comic book movies of all time.